Hello everyone and welcome back to West Plays Pokemon Coliseum. In the last episode, I believe if I'm doing this on time, we defeated Mirakle B, which I didn't quite expect right away, but was pretty happy that we could do that as fast as we did. As you may or may not have noticed, it depends on what kind of device you're playing this on. If you're on a desktop, it's most likely that you've noticed it. The quality is ever so slightly increased. And that is because I have found out that I can mess around with resolution settings. This was something that basically I knew I could do a long time ago, and I never bothered doing it because I never really had a problem with Dolphin's quality issues. I've never really had a problem with the definition, of GameCube games because I was used to it. I've always liked it. I've always enjoyed it. And yeah, it was basically no problem for me, and so I decided that it wouldn't be an issue for anybody else. And then I realized as I was recording that maybe these qualities are not the best that they could be. So as you can probably see by now, this is not the party that I went into here with. As a matter of fact, you probably never saw me catch Gligar, and I'm like almost a whole 10 levels above what I was when I started out in this area. That is because I am doing this out of order. I actually already have a lot of episodes recorded and stuff like that. Not all of them uploaded, but a lot of them recorded so far. Hopefully none of them are corrupted or completely destroyed by now. But yeah, so you can expect that kind of stuff later. And I think I promised in my last episode, I think it was the Minecraft one, that was new, recent. Basically, I released it just as I recorded it. It was actually pretty close to, well, I wasn't doing so well at recording then, so it was pretty close to now. But I believe I have gotten back into the groove. I've done a couple of practice recordings, and by practice recordings, of course, I mean that I recorded some things and they didn't turn out how I wanted them, so I basically just deleted them. It's not so much that, it's not so much. Basically, I went in and I started doing this base all over again, and we're close to the finish line, actually. We're going to see if we can catch ourselves a few shadow Pokemon that we missed, if we can even get them again. And then we may even take on Mirakle B. It depends on how long it takes. So, the reason I messed around with the resolution of this and basically increased it to, it's 2 times what it used to be. At least I think it says it's 2 times what it used to be. Which is still, excuse me, everyone. It's still less than 1080p, but it's definitely not bad. It's definitely not, you won't notice the quality being not high definition. Nobody would really care. And if you do care, then I'm sorry. This probably hasn't been the video series for you in the first place. I actually won't even label this as an episode. I'll label it just as an update, and if I fight Mirakle B, I'll throw in, versus Mirakle B. So yes, the reason I did this is because I was actually thinking about what other YouTubers were doing while they were doing Let's Plays of this game. I was looking up Koshi Sushi specifically, who Let's Played this game a long time before me, and there's a big story behind why I'm a big fan of him. And when I googled Let's Play Pokemon Coliseum, his name just did not show up right away, and I was kind of upset. I didn't find his Let's Play of this game until much later. Until much later in the thing, or if at all. I don't think I actually did find it at all. But it was just kind of disappointing to me that I couldn't find his stuff, and I was really looking it up just because I wanted to see if he or any other Let's Player on YouTube played in widescreen, because I know that this game natively is 5:4 aspect ratio. So I mean, wait, no, no, it's not 5:4. It's 4:3. Why am I thinking 5:4? But yeah, it's naturally 4:3 aspect ratio. So nothing new or strange there, except why would they play it in widescreen if it's native aspect ratio or something else? And so I know that you guys are probably a little bit annoyed by the bars on the side of the screen if you see those. The way I have my captures set up, it shouldn't be a problem. I have things set up so that I can basically play in full screen and record in full screen. And it's full screen for me because my monitor is 4:3. I'm still losing my mind here. So my monitor is 4:3. It's an old one, but even if I did have a widescreen monitor, I could still play this game in full screen Now, what I noticed about the other Let's Players is that they were all using capture cards, first of all. Something I realized, actually, is that Nintendo doesn't like people using ROMs, especially if they're sharing, especially if those people are sharing the content of Nintendo stuff on YouTube or whatever. Now, I'm not monetizing off of it, so I'm not going to attract their attention quite as quickly. But, you know, that's just something to think about. Now, they were all using capture cards of the original GameCube, which, by the way, scales up to 16:9, but not evenly. It uses widescreen as if widescreen were just stretched out full screen, and so it looks a little stretched where it is. And I don't know if that bothers any of you guys or anything like that, but it's just something to think about. Now, I did want to say that they didn't have to do that. You know, they don't have to play in widescreen stretched. You know, they don't have to make it look ugly like that. They can actually use the widescreen hack and build an emulator, which is something that I might do sometime in the future. As a matter of fact, look forward to it if I ever mention getting a new monitor. And that is something cool that you can do with emulators that you can't do with regular games. Another thing is that you can probably hack some of these games, although I've never really tried before, and I don't know how well it'll work. But I do. That's another thing that I definitely want to try. So, you know, in the end, after I do all this, if I ever want to actually do any updates like that, then I will show you guys, and it'll be a pretty fun experiment. It'll be a wild ride for all of us. But however, speaking of me getting a new monitor or new hardware in general, I have been thinking about hardware for my computer. Now, this has been something that's been going on for a really long time. In my videos that I'm posting now, except for my Minecraft video, you will notice that I have talked about it before many times, considering getting new hardware or upgrading my computer, or, you know, the upgrades that I have gone through. And I kind of want to go through all of those, actually, and a little bit more in depth. I know I've like ranted on about tech for a really long time before, and you guys are probably sick of it, like completely sick of it. But I still find it fun to talk about, and I do like tech talking on YouTube and stuff like that. I watch tech channels and stuff. Now, I found out recently that my computer started crashing a whole bunch, and this happened actually after I got back from my break, or I shouldn't call it a break. After I got back from traveling, I found out that my computer was crashing quite often. I was getting a little frustrated about it because I looked at the errors, and they all looked like memory read errors. And so I'm like, okay, it's either my RAM, which I've never had a problem with before, and it's not a part that deteriorates over time as quickly. But one part that does is a hard drive. And I was still using a hard drive that I was unfamiliar with. It was actually a hard drive that I got from another computer that I got from someone else, basically for free. And it shouldn't have been a big deal, you know, to have that, at least temporarily. But the thing is, I didn't have it temporarily. I had it as my main drive, with my operating system with all of my important files. The only things I backed up to an external hard drive were files that were like in my OneDrive that I wanted to make sure, you know, if that ever gets locked up, I will have backups somewhere else. So it's technically offsite backup, and then I have a second backup locally of all those files that are convenient for me. But yeah, you know, I wanted to have those files, so those files were on my hard drive, and then the other files that were on my hard drive were the ones that were basically too big to fit on my main drive in my system, because my main drive in my system is only 250 gigs, was only 250 gigs. And when I upgraded to an SSD, so that's one of the first things that I did, or actually it's one of the later things that I did, but when I upgraded to an SSD, I upgraded to the same size so that I could possibly clone my disk. Now, I didn't actually do that. I just did a clean install, and I believe, you know, so far it's actually working quite well. It's working a lot better than I expected. And yeah, you know, I do like clean installs and everything like that, so I'm using that. Now, the other upgrades that I did was, of course, I probably mentioned before that I upgraded my CPU. And when I upgraded my CPU, I didn't think much, you know, to look up charts and everything like that. I basically wanted the latest CPU, top of the line, best performance, you know, as many cores as I could get in my price range and in my socket, which was FM2 Plus on the board that I'm using. So the processor that I got got a very APU. It was the AMD A10 7870K. Now, it was around the time that I upgraded my processor, and I also upgraded my heatsink and my case at the same time, so it could have been, me just messing around and touching the board somewhere and shorting something out that was causing my computer to crash so often. But the crashes were coming internally from Windows itself, and so I figured, if Windows knows what the crash is and it's not an actual hardware failure, it's probably somewhere in my operating system. So I decided to check it out a while ago, and I was wrong, actually. What I think the problem is that it's causing my computer to crash, because it continued to crash even after I upgraded my hard drive to an SSD. I don't use that hard drive at all in my system anymore. And I upgraded my RAM, so I have, double the RAM, double the system RAM, and, I also doubled my GPU RAM as well, so I have 6 gigabytes of system RAM and 2 gigabytes of video RAM, which is all contained in the same 2 4 gigabyte sticks of memory that I'm using. So I was thinking for the longest time, if it's not my hard drive, it could be my RAM. So just this morning, I looked up to see what my RAM compatibility was, or what my board's compatibility was. The first thing I looked at was RAM, and I kind of feel silly about this because my RAM is supported by my board, and I believe I remember actually looking it up when I bought the RAM, when I chose the RAM to put in the board when I first made the computer. And I feel a little bit disappointed that I kind of let it be like that, because it wasn't the RAM that was incompatible with my board, it was my CPU. So after I did all of that, I thought that a BIOS update would have helped my RAM compatibility, because that's what those BIOSes that were on the main site were telling me that they did. It was basically improving RAM compatibility, so you can throw in different sticks of RAM with this BIOS, and it would work better. But that is just not the case. It is actually the CPU. My CPU was not listed on the page of supported CPUs, and I feel so silly now because now I'm basically using a CPU that, yes, it's overpowered, or rather, not technically overpowered for a gamer, but overpowered for me. It does exactly what I want to, and a little bit more, which is really nice because I get to have multiple displays. I get to have a lot of things running at once, and it's just nice all around. I enjoy having it. But also, I am seeing the problems with that CPU. And so it's an overpowered CPU, but it doesn't quite work right. So I've been thinking about possibly downgrading my CPU and seeing if it will actually still run the games that I want to do at the speeds that I want them to run. I'm definitely not going to return it, but I might try and sell it. But I don't want to, because I honestly like it. I like having it in my system. And I think what I would do instead of selling this is maybe even sell my old one for whatever it's worth. It's honestly worth about $60 online now if it's new and I have a used one, so it's probably a little bit less, but I could also try overclocking it and see if I can get some value out of that, and see if I can sell it based on the fact that I overclocked it to a certain amount, and maybe sell that and upgrade my motherboard. Because my motherboard does not really have a lot of good compatibility with high-end hardware. It is actually meant to be an entry-level PC motherboard, and so that's my case right there. But among my upgrades, I actually got a new wireless card. So this is kind of a thing that I will be testing out after I do this episode. After I record this episode, I'm going to try to upload it. It'll be the first episode I upload without being on a wired connection, and that is because my new wireless card it supposedly supports a little bit faster than what my wired connection was. Now, this is what it's rated for, not what it's actually going to perform, because the wireless router does have a faster wired connection than it does wireless. And basically, all I'm saying is not that I'm getting ridiculously fast speeds wirelessly and not getting them through wired. What I'm saying is that I'm getting ridiculously fast speeds, at least for me, for wireless, compared to what I had before. And I'm just kind of liking that. Now, I'm not getting faster than a wired connection, of course, because, first of all, I'm not as close to the router as I used to be, but second, because I'm also wireless, and wireless is inherently slower. It's just that this one's rated for faster than my internet speeds, which will basically, perform through all of my needs. And of course, every wireless card should be faster than your internet, because your network speed is what you're focusing on, not really just internet. If you just focus on the internet, then you're gonna have a bad time. Because internet is just so slow. Internet is not fast enough for any of us, honestly. I don't think I could ever. I think I'd be hard pressed to find a router that will support the needs that I wanted to support, even especially wirelessly. And that's just because the internet speeds and the internet speeds will still be a bottleneck on that. And so it's just there's no real use for it. There's no real use in trying to keep messing around with that constantly. So yeah, that's where I am. I now have a new wireless card. Now the new wireless card, I actually have the specs around here somewhere. I just gotta get up and turn around to look at it. What is it? Please tell me I can read the number from here. One moment, please. Okay, sorry, still being silly. Yeah, I could read it. So my new wireless card, it is 867 megabits per second, and when I say that's faster than what I was getting before, what I mean is that its rated speed is rated higher than what I was actually getting before, which doesn't mean that that's what I'm gonna get. It means that that's what it is capable of with the right environment, and I kind of like those ratings. I kind of like those numbers, despite being what they are. So yes, my new wireless card. Great wireless card, by the way. Let me mention that this is an upgrade from my old wireless card, which I actually did try to live stream from, and you guys are all gonna laugh at me when I tell you that I was trying to live stream from a card that got 54 megabits per second bandwidth. And I'm not even exaggerating here. 54 megabits per second. Now, put into context, this is definitely an old card, obviously. But it's... Oh, okay, so it's an old card. It's back from actually probably around 2007 or 2009. And it works just fine then. Duh, it works just fine then. Why wouldn't it work just fine then? Because the network speeds back then were even slower than that. Relatively. I'm not actually, up to par on these numbers and stuff like that. I'm just saying that, my personal network is likely slower than what these things are rated for. And so, like, my old card, and literally it was just a wireless card. Now it says 802.11, but it's not 802.11 AC, it is 802.11G. And I believe G is, what is it, right after B? And then wireless N was right after that. Now, wireless AC has been actually around for quite a long time, if we're talking computers. So it's kind of ridiculous that this one is, that I was trying to use this one in, any modern day, honestly, in any modern day application. That's kind of dumb of me. But I didn't know the numbers before, and I basically am like, okay, it's a wireless card, I'm using it because it's the only thing I have. I don't have a wired connection, the router's so far away. I basically moved the router into my room so that I can live stream and upload YouTube videos. And it worked, and that's the best I can say about it. The bottleneck for that wireless card basically made my computer look so slow, and in comparison now, it's lightning fast. It's almost instantly responsive. I click on something, it opens, or if I navigate to a web page, it opens right away. It doesn't take forever to load. I am happy with my computer now, finally. And honestly, there's only a few more upgrades that I would even consider doing before basically trying to upgrade to a new computer entirely, or before basically this computer being not what it was at first at all. I was considering upgrading my power supply because I did get a GPU. I got a dedicated GPU card for my birthday, which was recently, which I spent my birthday puking my guts out. There's a long story there, but basically I was sick on my birthday. I was kind of upset about that. I've been sick on my birthday a lot of times, but not recently until just this year. But yeah, and it's so funny because my friends they wrote on a blackboard that they have in their kitchen when they had me over to party. They wrote happy birthday or you know, my whatever birthday it was. It was a special birthday. And then they had my nickname, and my nickname is I won't tell you. I'm not going to tell you my nickname, but I'm trying to come up with a descriptive word for it. It is silly. That's what I'll call it. My nickname is silly. I don't particularly like it. I don't particularly dislike it, you know. I like it a little. Of course, I like it a little less than I liked one of my other previous nicknames. And you know, I don't know what to say about it other than, you know, I have a name. I like my name. And you know, if you know me in real life, if you're lucky enough to know me in real life, I like it when people use my real name, you know. I mean, I don't have any nicknames, and I kind of liked that fact for a while. I've considered having nicknames just because, you know, it would be kind of fun to be called something that I wasn't for once. We're actually going to save in case something catastrophic happens. You're probably going to see my save path. Yes, you will see my save path. Also, I'd like to note lightning fast save speeds on my SSD now. Since I upgraded to the SSD and I upgraded my video RAM and all those things that I actually tweaked and fixed, it has made my computer so much better than it ever was before, and I really like that. And I'm actually not even going to have this as like a I'm not even going to have this set aside as a special episode, I think. Let me look at my timestamp right here and see where I am. I'm at 21 minutes. So no, this isn't going to be a special episode. I mean, this is going to be a special episode, but I'm not going to separate the episode because... Let me see. Do I hear any music? No music. It appears... Oh, it appeared that there was nobody here. But yes, we do see this guy here. This is Mirakle B. I'm going to check around and see if there's anything left before we start to battle him and basically get our butts whooped. Seriously, this is going to be a tough battle if we just run into it with our arms flailing about. So I think that's actually all that I wanted to cover in this episode and this update and stuff like that. There was a lot that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I was talking about my GPU before. Oh, by the way, notice that this is just a sped up version of Mirakle B's theme song. I'll let you listen to it for a second. Okay, so you can tell there's not really anything special about this guy's team or anything like that. It's just the sped up music. It's kind of an average team, not really anything to write home about. I don't know if he has a shadow Pokemon or not. He's not really a special guy. He's kind of like an Easter egg in this game. And I'm not even sure if you can find him or Mirakle B again until you take on the entire base. And really, in any game, I've never taken on the base more than twice. And this is my second time actually in this one. So, I was talking about the dedicated GPU before. My power supply does not support it. I actually do not have the I do not have the proper connectors for this graphic card. It's a 560 Ti Twin Frozer Edition, and I have a 430 watt power supply. So if you know about computers, you know that I basically don't have the number of connectors, and I'm unwilling to adapt from Rolex to 8-pin or 6-pin because that's just ridiculous. You know, one shouldn't have to do that in order to get graphic card compatibility. So I'm not going to do that. I could upgrade my power supply and basically have another power supply for my old system, which I can say, if I buy a motherboard and a power supply, I have two whole systems now, because of the upgrades that I've done and because of what I can split between each computer. And I basically could, I guess I could buy like another stick of RAM or another 2 sticks of RAM, and you know, still have two decently powerful computers. Nothing much to say there. Just that, yeah, that's what I am capable of currently doing, and I would kind of like that. But yeah, and I would also have support for my graphic card if I did that as well. And so I'm actually considering that. I would basically just get a 500 watt power supply for pretty cheap. I could also get another display for my computer if I wanted to. And aside from that, I have all the parts to basically, you know, make two systems. You know, have an old system and have a new system with all the new parts that I spec'd out and picked out. And I think that would be pretty cool to have. I think that would be a pretty neat machine, or two pretty neat machines. So yeah, again, you guys can, or not again, but you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. You can even tell me it's like, oh my gosh, Wes, shut up. We don't care about any of this stuff. Don't talk about tech ever again. You know, we don't even care about Mirakle B. You know, in that case, I probably wouldn't have watched this episode. But yeah, so that you guys know, if my progress on uploading stuff is impeded once again, it is because of computer issues that I'm having, and not really anything too bad. You know, not really anything too terrible. You know what? No, we're gonna destroy you if we can, because you can be dangerous. Okay, yeah, that didn't work out quite as well. Electrode is fast, guys. So yes, and actually when I was talking about trying to record these before, it was such a pain. I got interrupted like 4 times, and then in the second time I tried to record it, I was just like, no, you know what, forget this, I don't want to do this. This is just too much of a pain to do. And I got over it. But yes, now I am back in the swing of things, and I am ready to record again. And I actually kind of want to move back on. I kind of want to move back to doing some more Harvest Moon, because I know for a fact I need to record more episodes of that. And so we will, you guys will hopefully see more episodes of Harvest Moon, more episodes of Coliseum, and even more episodes in general, because I do know that I need to video edit and do all that stuff basically before I upload to YouTube, or while I'm uploading to YouTube. If I still want to use YouTube's video editor, it's actually not so bad. And that is definitely something that that is a possibility in the future, that you guys will see better videos, hopefully. And I won't have to sit there and babysit them on the weekend that I have to upload them. I'll just basically go in to edit them, and then click publish, and then it'll be done, you know? But yeah, that's basically what I'm up to now. Now that I've run out of things to talk about, we can talk about them. And he has a Sudowoodo, just like Mirakle B did, only this Sudowoodo is not a Shadow Sudowoodo. We actually have a Shadow Sudowoodo in our party. As you can see, my party is probably a little bit different than what you saw in the last episode. And that is for obvious reasons, because I'm recording this I was recording those episodes in the past. I am in the future now, I guess, as you can say. Or, well, okay, technically not. Still in the past, but whatever. This is further than what those episodes will be. And I've been talking about so much, you know, when I'm releasing episodes and everything like that, and I still like the weekly upload schedule. It just works for me, simple and plain. Please don't use surf. You're gonna side beam. Or learn side beam. I don't know how these moves work. What are moves? What is Pokemon? Okay, no, we're gonna do the smart thing here. And we're actually we've almost defeated Mirakle B. It's really cool that we were able to take both these bosses as soon as we went after them, and that was pretty cool, actually. You know, that we don't have to go back and train constantly. Also, another reason I'm doing this, I should mention this now. The reason I'm actually battling Mirakle B right now is because I needed to do a ton of off-screen training, and this is just part of it. And I know I'm supposed to kind of live stream that stuff, but I've realized I don't get any live stream videos. I'm considering doing some live streaming on YouTube because of that. It's just, it's such a pain to want to do these things, and then not get an audience to talk to, and not get an audience to talk at, and when I don't do this for long periods of time, I get so antsy. I hate it so much. But I'm getting better. I'm definitely getting better. So yeah, you guys can expect more stuff from me, better stuff from me, hopefully, in the future, and more stuff to look forward to. And as you can tell, yes, I am still recording, and hopefully in the future, all of my episodes will be in a slightly higher quality like this. I can also mess around with some anti-aliasing to smooth out the textures a little bit, and you guys might like that. You've ruined my dreams of getting an afro! So Mirakle B is basically a Cypher peon that's a Mirakle B, that's a Mirror B fanboy. I don't care if no one agrees, I'm still the rightful heir to Mirror B, even though my hair hasn't grown to a full afro do. Okay, so we have defeated Mirakle B, and we will return to Pyrite Town eventually, and then probably take on some more of Mount Battle. I've actually unlocked all the way up to Area 5 in Mount Battle with no problems, really. I don't think I've lost a battle yet. Of course, that's kind of a cursing. I'm kind of cursing myself by saying that. But anyway, yeah. Let me know what you guys think of this episode. Please be sure to leave a comment, a rating, anything. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more episodes from me and more series, and even suggest more series in the comments as well. If you want to see any of those. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.